E-Gaming Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 3. After our first matchup went on for quite a long time, we did actually miss the first map of this one, which did go the way of Space Soldiers or Mirage. Joining me once again will be Just Harry, GG, and we are going into what will be Cobble's map pick of Space Soldiers.
Space Soldiers. Yeah. You know, Space Soldiers already won out Mirage, which was Team Kinguin's map pick. And, I mean, a lot of that comes down to a very disappointing from me, who's someone that you normally kind of look to make some insane plays, but has been having a couple of problems here and there with consistency within this roster. So, yeah, I think, you know, coming into this, Space Soldiers, very, very good cobblestone team. Finally attuned to playing this map. They're very used to it. One that we see them almost look at home on. So heading into this, I mean, I think, you know, Team Kinguin do have a fairly decent history on cobblestone as well. It's not one that they're known to be bad on by any stretch, and it's one that they like to play a lot, but they haven't had the most consistent results on it as of late. So I feel like, you know, if they come out of this with a good start, then we could potentially see them pick it up. But I do feel like Space Soldiers have a bit of an upper hand here. It's going to take some good individual plays on the basis of Team Kinguin. But anyway, heading into this, we're going to be seeing Kinguin over on the CT side, Space Soldiers kicking things off on the T side. Let's see how this pans out.
Yeah, no, I'm actually a little bit disappointed we missed the first map. I do really like this matchup, one we've seen for actually quite a long time with different iterations of the lineup. Obviously, I think the more drastic changes mainly came into Kinguin, only really that addition of Calyx that has changed as of recently, but that is an addition I've wanted to see for quite a while. I'm a big fan of him as a player. Obviously, Zontaras is the one most people highlight, but I'm going to be looking at him to see if he can just lead the way, and I think in the groups as well, he was really leading the way, having massive performances. Obviously, on the other side, you've already mentioned me, who's someone who very, very strong player normally, but didn't show up too well in the previous match. And if that happens again, it's going to be difficult for them. They do have a lot of talent. Obviously, their changes came in with Furlan and Rallen, and at WSG, they stepped up very, very well, getting all the way to the final, which was not expected of them whatsoever, especially with teams like VP in there. But either way, we're into the pistol, and there's quite a bit of utility on the Turkish side.
Yeah, only 3 players down, but they have got a lot to play around with as they head over towards B. Already 2 players down and in drop, and it wouldn't be complete if Zontaras wasn't one of them, but he's going to go down off the bat. Rallen to find that. They don't check the corner as a mouse there. Going to be able to find that one on a Calyx very, very quickly. It is a 2-man advantage in favor of Team Kinguin. Now, this utility they do have, most of it going to be going away as they try to flush these players out with the flashes. Despe going to be on the late push in through, drop down, does find one, but ultimately the trade's coming through. A nice flick from Furlan to find that frag. Does mean now it's all on Major. 1v4. A lot on his plate to try and do here as he rotates back over towards this A site. Kinguin, for the time being, dedicated everyone over towards B, but Sparrow is now rotating around to try and deny this plant.
Yeah, Major is actually going to be able to hit the dink, but he's in a horrible predicament, even being flanked. If he can get this kill, maybe he has an opportunity. And actually, he does hit the headshot. Now, a couple of low players. Mihu, the only one with full HP, and he's going to go rotating back towards this B site. Making quite a bit of noise. That may be intentional, just to try and bait them in. Also checking angles as he goes. He's going to try and split back towards this A site. Now, they're going to know where he is. He is literally running around like a herd of elephants. And, well, Spiro's going to spot him out and finish him off as well. Headshot, done and dusted. And the Polish will get themselves the first round.
Yeah, picking up the pistol. It's actually going to be a team ace as well. Every single player contributing 1 frag for their scoreboard. Now, Space Soldier's going to have to force buy down. One thing you will notice is they were given control of drop entirely for free. And I feel like if that's the way Team Kinguin are going to choose to play this, as long as they can find the frags on the exit, then that's fine. But we know from experience, Tom, that you cannot give Zontaras drop down. You cannot let him just run free with that. So this time they do choose to post a player up in there. Looks like maybe it was just a pistol strap, but no, actually, once again, they fall on back to me mode just to hold the angle for the push on out. Sparrow as well, watching the window. And actually, it looks like Space Soldier's going to rotate back from B. Instead, now look to haul over towards this A site. And no, they fake again. Back and forth.
The mind games.
Yeah,
Although
mind games.
I'm not really sure how it would make any difference to the CT side who can't see them. So maybe they've just got the sort of split personalities dragging them left and right. And in fact, Despe going all the way back just to set up a smoke over towards this B site. They are going to be pushing him relatively soon. I like the little crossfire here from Furlan, because the fact is he could just spray off a few shots, make his presence known, make them force on towards him, and then bait for his teammate currently in the corner. The only problem is the Molotov actually is going to be falling towards him. Now, there's still a player in the corner. This could be absolutely perfect if they don't check. Roland is still here on the plat, and now he's going to pounce. Gets one, drops the bomb on plat. This is horrific at the moment. Looking for a second as well. They don't even know where he is. Gets the second as well, and a third. Easy stuff from Roland. A lot of damage being done, however. Maybe Paz could at least make it a little bit more costly.
Yeah, Paz, my self-proclaimed favourite player on this Space Soldiers lineup, going to be going out for the peak. Nearly connects the shots, but ultimately it's a 1-on-2 up against a bit of a losing battle. They go in for the double peak, and down he falls. Kinguin, they pick up their second round. Although they do lose a hefty amount of players, Space Soldiers go the distance to make things costly for them. Well, that Major's going to be picking up a flash into what should be a low investment round. They try to keep $2,000, so the players with a little bit more can afford some P250s here and there. I imagine...
I think they accidentally dropped a Nova. I don't believe that that was intentional. Just by the way that people were just chucking it to each other. Like, I don't want that. Why are you giving me the Nova? Like, just weird. But, especially in this sort of round, as they would want to get rid of it. But it's not going to matter. Spirit starts things off. Goes over to the Tech 9, and he just wrecks face. 3 for himself. 1 will be traded back by Calyx, but that's going to be easily done and dusted. We'll see whether or not Mouse... There we go. Very quickly. Just like, no, I don't want this anymore. And just drops it over onto the floor.
I mean, Tom, aren't you meant to be a shotgun advocate?
Oh, yeah. No, I am all for an intentional shotgun. But if you are buying it by accident, you are not a true shotgun fan or a true shotgun user, so I do not want you having that gun.
Ooh, okay, then. Well, it takes a lot to party with Tom, and here we go. Speaking of party, we can see that Space Soldier's going to be charging in towards this B site. Just raw aggression coming out from there, but the nades already proven to be too much as Berlin and Roland, they find themselves a frag on the back of those nades already. Major has fallen. Can see, going to be employing the booster spot over the top of the smoke, try and find their equalizing frag. But all in all, Kinguin focusing on holding this B site. 4 players here. Space Soldiers need to get out of the rut of hitting B. I feel like Kinguin are quite well attuned to how Space Soldiers usually play this out, which is normally just sheer dominance of drop down and this B site, and it's being denied off the bat. There's another frag coming through. And that's going to be Despe falling now. Look at this aggression coming in from Roland. He's pushed all the way up through long passes to check the angle. And on that shoulder peak, he should have spotted him. Smoke's going to go down, but he does just fade away on the other side of the smoke. Zantara's made his way in through drop. For me, who's going to be watching the angle, as is Mo on the other side of drop down. Zantara's landing a quick spray transfer out there. Does find one at least, looking for a second. Oh, down goes Roland as well. Suddenly, the beast that is Zantara's roars into action. It's quick to be snuffed out. Mihu going to guillotine the head of that beast before it becomes much more of a threat. Putting it down into a 2-on-3 now. Still focusing on B. Space Soldiers finally looking like they might admit defeat and fall on back. No, we'll just keep going. Why the hell not?
Yeah, actually, the rotation is a bit interesting at the moment from the CT side. I think they bet a little bit wrong in the way that they think that the Turkish side are going to go. Luckily for them, Furlan is still going to do work, and Mihu will be there to help him out. And I really want to give props to Kinguin in that round for the way they just used their utility. Like, double nade at the beginning, shuts things down. Then whenever anybody was getting a little bit, like, close to dying, they would throw out a smoke. A flashbang would pop in. The Molotov towards the end to slow down any further aggression. It was just very cleverly used, and Space Soldiers never really got into that round other than the one glimmer of hope that was Antares able to get a quick double.
Yeah, what we saw there was merely a taster of what we normally expect from Zantara's in drop. Something just to, a little tipple to moisten our taste buds. Hopefully we can see that come up a little bit more, but Nade damage already. Zentara is going to be feeling the brunt of that over and towards middle, but now the pop flash comes out for them to make their way up towards ramp. Mihu, though, landing a pop flash of his own, does delay the push for the time being. Mo's already rotated on round as well. The crossfire is going to be set up, and Major does find the return. Mo's got a lot to answer for, and he can't quite connect the shots. He is going to go down, but they've got to worry about this lone long player in the form of Sparrow with the AWP, who's coming in from behind. Despe looking to check the angle, goes out wide for the peak, but there's the flick. Down goes Despe. It's a 2-on-3. Bomb isn't down just yet. Calix's angles left to check before he can guarantee this plant that fell in there. Doesn't even realize he's shooting someone, but Paz is going to go down, and then he finds the second as well. Good night, sweet prince, as Calix bites the bullet there, quite literally. And that's going to be Team Kinguin to pick up their 5th.
Yeah, and, well, not as clean as they probably would have liked. A couple of players will be lost, but still making money overall. And also 5 rounds in a row now for Kinguin. A very, very strong start to their opponent's map pick. We will now see the AWP and full utility over onto that T side. So now we get to see what they can actually do themselves. But in the meantime, Furlan, he's going aggressive. He will spot out one, but the problem is he shoots bullets off. He can't risk taking that angle anymore, as Antares will be there waiting to punish.
Zentara's already looking at his long-lost love from across the room, trying to analyze how he could potentially make his way in towards drop and find some opening frags. He's here to watch the angle, but is playing things very passively in a position where he can easily just fall on back, relinquish control if need be, and then you've got Mihu to watch the flank up through connector for that A site push. So ultimately, I like how they're counteracting how strong Zentares is in drop and how they're playing this. Rollin up close and personal, trying to find something through the smoke. It's going to be spotted on out, but does do a little bit of chance damage onto Paz. Now, they try to capitalize on this, but Furlan is watching the crossfires set up, and ultimately they're in a great place to try and trade that out if the frag did come through. Space Soldiers now executing down in towards drop. Zentares, first man on the scene. Going to be exchanging some shots with the fellas over towards ramp as Furlan actually mops him up, no problem, always makes it look easy, and now Furlan's going to be finding some hassle over behind the boxes. It is going to fall at the hands of Paz. It's a 4-on-4, but Mo over towards short, shutting things down. It's still, this B site has not faltered for Team Kinguin.
Yeah, and they're still even playing in this little cubby angle. Roland just going to be waiting for them to push in, but they've only got 20 seconds to play with, and this time, they're not going to bother. They're just going to fall back. They're going to keep what they've got, bring it into the next round, and fade away. This is quite surprising. Not something you see very often at all on cobblestone, at least, as you can normally get very aggressively pushing into the site. We do actually have a floating sticker at the moment over on one of the guns. But other than that, very nice round as well from Kinguin. They're keeping this squeaky clean, and 6-0. Space Soldiers must be getting a little bit worried.
And I feel like a lot of this just comes from Team Kinguin really knowing how Space Soldiers play this map and how dependent they are on having drop-down control, how dependent they are on that B site. And look, I mean, Zentares, he's still strung up on a drop-down. That's still where he's going to head. He just can't stop. He's addicted to drop-down. That's what it is. And he makes his way over towards here once again, this time just watching the angle, watching to see if Kinguin decide to boost on up, but they're not going to. Space Soldiers very quickly have to learn how to make something happen over towards A without the assistance of drop down. And that's something we're really not used to seeing them do. We often say, and we often joke about, as do a lot of people, if you can get Zentares out of drop, then you can easily take Cobblestone away from Space Soldiers. And normally it's a task that no team really has been able to pull off until what we're seeing now. And this is exactly what happens when you do just that.
Pop flash will actually catch Roland, but it catches the majority of the other players as well. Now this position, he shouldn't be getting more than one. It's such a hard spot to actually hold. He's going to be spotted out already and won't even get that. Nice entry from Paz to start things off. Mihu up close. AWP of Spira actually homed in over towards ramp at the moment, when considering you've just lost a player over towards long, that's a little bit risky, but the rotation, I suppose, from Mouse will actually give them a little bit more, and now Zentares has been enabled to get that drop-down position which he so clearly desires. In the meantime, the rotation of the bomb is going to be heading its way back towards B, and the entry of Zentares, there we go, he pounces. Just one kill from somebody else has opened up this round. Calix will get another one. He's playing a flank over towards A. And it only leaves Mihu just trying to catch him out, trying to stop any further rotations from Calix, and he will at least be able to do that.
Yeah, down goes Sparrow. Now it's all on Mihu. Will just fall back and save. The economy for Team Kinguin going to be building up, so Saving the M4 will come in handy and just reducing the buy down costs into the next round. Actually, trying to pick up the AWP. Zantara is going to be watching that and does find the frag. Space Soldiers get one round, but it has to be the catalyst for more. They have to try and convert this into a streak, reset the economy of Kinguin if they want to stay ahead, as usually their T side we see to be fairly strong. So, continuing into this, they have got money to play around with at least. On the CT side, full buy going to be coming on in. The AWP on Sparrow still very much in play. Despe now, though, has his hands on an AWP of his own to play around with. And it's going to be 4 players over towards mid. This time, Major actually going to be the lone lurk at this B site. Zantara is in new and enchanted territory, actually going to be trying his hand at middle.
Smokes will be going down early, but here we go. As you said, they've taken over that mid control. There is a smoke currently down, looking like they may be tempted to just flash straight through it. Sparrow going to be completely blind, but then peeks out, gets the first bomb drop. They've already spotted all the information that they need. Mihu looking to try and support his teammate, but it's Sparrow up close. Mihu again takes down Zantares. This time he's not in drop, he will be dropped. And Major's the one playing that lurk role, leaving just 2 surviving at the moment for Space Soldiers. Looking very good for Kinguin once again. And the money is just not there. The Turkish side really need to pull something out here. The remaining players are going to struggle to buy into the next round. They may get something at least, but it's not going to be a good buy. And, well, Spiro looking to just make this even worse. Hits the shoulder of Paz, leaving Despe in a 1 versus 5.
Yeah, here alone and players closing in on him like moths to a flame. Despe falling on back, has to check the angle, but Rallen is there, and down goes Despe. That's going to be Team Kinguin picking up their 7th. They do find 6 consecutively. Space Soldiers get 1 stray round, and now Kinguin back on the ball, pick up another. And already that money building up once again over in the CT side. Going to have another shot at trying to keep that economy strong, as Space Soldiers have nothing to invest into this. And this is the most vulnerable I think I've ever seen Space Soldiers look on this map.
Okay. I think someone just joined the server. Don't know how they got that IP, but, or is that actually, what, is that the coach? I think it is. Okay, well, clearly mistakes were made either way, so we are going to have a quick pause just to bring things back. Won't take very long whatsoever. We will actually see an investment once again for Space Soldiers. Not going to be anything too hefty, just going to be saving to get themselves a buy going into that next round. It's 7-1. Kinguin looking to get themselves another freebie. Now, they haven't built up a ridiculous amount of cash, but it's still looking pretty good for the CT side. Mihu with 6,500 and just below 5k will be a Rallen as well. So no problems in terms of buying back up into the next round if they were to make mistakes here. But they're going to be looking to try and keep this clean, build up some money, and then look to get, well, win the half already, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a 7-1 scoreline against Space Soldiers on Cobblestone is nothing. You could be disappointed with me, who are going to be going aggressively very early on out through mid. They haven't had to deal with this yet, and Space Soldiers aren't ready for it as a result. They are going to be checking the angle, but Mihu on the peak finds the first, looking for a second as well. Paz going to be there, but they do get the return at least, putting it into a 4-4. They now have an AK to play around with. And it looks like they might be trying to act on this by quickly rotating a couple of players over towards A. Now it's going to go down as well. Zantares finds him in drop, and he goes the distance to try and reclaim the territory that was stolen from him. Gonna opt to play things safe, fall on back. They do have the man advantage, though. This is the best place we've seen Space Soldiers in a while.
Now it becomes into just recovery mode for Kinguin. This is not a round that they want to hand over. This is not a position they want to give away. They're in such a strong point in this map at the moment. They don't even want to give them a lifeline. 40 seconds left on the clock. Majority of players now building up towards Plat. Furlan is going to be that first point of contact, although actually Rallen facing the wrong way. May have the wrong read here. Despe going to push out, won't quite be able to capitalize, but Furlan's there to support. Both players getting tagged very low. Already a rotation has come in from Spira, but he's playing the AWP. If he misses, he's dead. Luckily, he doesn't miss. Now Major is going to be into a 1 versus 2. No armor, 31 HP, and AK to play with. Got to be very careful of Rallen actually peeking out. He now knows his spot. He's got to go aggressive. He's got to try and find the second player. He's not going to be there. And, well, Spiro with the USP will finish things off. Another round on the board, but only one player surviving. Much, much closer than it should have been for Kinguin.
Yeah, and the one benefit of only keeping one player alive from Space Soldier's perspective is that the economy on Team Kinguin, which was very strong previously, now looking to be that much weaker. Only Mihu really with anything too much to invest, maybe Rallen as well. So Space Soldiers pick this up. We could see Team Kinguin on the cusp of an economic reset. Once again, though, aggression over towards B, not really much in the way of strategy coming out from Space Soldier, but Major finds an early frag out on a Mihu. That's the man advantage seized here for Space Soldiers on this buy. You can see they had to rotate a player off B. Now there's only 2 players here, and this is where Space Soldiers are going to be deadly. Rallen will go down. Furlan's alone, boosted up on top of the tree. Not really where you want to find yourself. Centaurus tries to go aggressive out through connector and will be punished for it by Maz, but still, the rotate coming through. Down goes Furlan. The lurk from Major going to get punished as well. All these peaks a little bit unnecessary as now it's a 2-on-3. Make that a 2-on-2. And Space Soldiers could have just thrown this away on the back of 2 very unnecessary peaks coming out from Centaurus and Major. Over towards A. Calyx is only 6 HP. Paz is rotating background with the bomb, but Mouse is in the sight. Sparrow's on the rotate round as well. Team Kinguin not ready to give this one up just yet.
Yeah, a lot of sporadic plays not paying off at all. And now it's all on to Paz in a 1 versus 2. 45 seconds left, meaning he does have time to play with. Footsteps should have been heard by Mouse, but he's actually going to go peeking, and that will bring it back to a 1 versus 1. Spiro, once again, going to be the man to try and clutch this one out. Bomb should be planted. Actually going to be baiting out the shots. Still goes to plant in quite an open position. He's just trying to find the frag at the moment. Paz not willing to just bait his opponent in. He knows he's not close enough. There's no way that he can get to him right away. And now the advantage sits with the T. Push will be coming in. Spiro actually going to rail off a shot to try and cover the sound of him dropping the weapon. It won't work. You should know that they actually have an M4 in hand at the moment. Paz going to be pushing round, but it's going to be Spiro to win. Picks up the AWP and another clutch for the man, the AWPer. And he will be winning another round, 9-1 to Kinguin.
I mean, this is very bad for Space Soldiers now, not only because of the 9-1 scoreline, but they're just not seeming like themselves. 2 incredibly unnecessary peaks. That could have been a 4-on-2 retake, but they let it get turned into a 2-on-2. Oh, sorry, a 5-on-2 retake. Centaurus goes for the peak out through connector, which was incredibly unnecessary. He goes down, and then you've got Calyx, who's going on this huge flank over towards A. It doesn't matter if you kill everyone. They've still got loads of money. It wouldn't reset the economy.
Major.
Yeah, a Major, sorry, yeah. Going on this huge flank over towards A. He goes down. Then they lose, I believe it was Calyx in the site, who's playing over towards short, thanks to the push in. I think that was from... Okay, that was from Miles, wasn't it? So yeah, he comes on through, finds that short player.
Calyx was playing by window. He goes down. He was in the 2 versus 2. But he lost a lot of HP in drop, and then it was Despe who was on the site, and then obviously the last player alive.
And yeah, ultimately they turn a 5v2 into a 2-on-2 in the blink of an eye because of two peaks that never needed to happen. Just trying to force that aggression for no reason. They had the bomb down, but still 9-1 right now. Space Soldiers have to try and pick something up. Because, I mean, this is a very, very poor performance from them based on what we're used to seeing from them on Cobble.
Well, yeah, a lot of this time, especially with Space Soldiers in general, we see a lot of sporadic plays working. I think that's why we're seeing them try and continue them, just confidence plays. We know that Centaurus never really settles for one. He's a very aggressive player, someone who can make those sort of plays work. That's why against some of the better teams, they do actually catch them out. They came very close to beating the old iteration of Envious in the match we saw at WSG, but close wasn't good enough. And well, now in this matchup at least, they are looking very flat. Calyx hasn't really come into this game. Centaurus has had a few glimpses, and then, well, Major has been playing a sort of lurk role. So a lot of the time, you're not really seeing these star performances. And well, now, 9-1 down, they're going to go for a force buy in an attempt to sort of bring things back after winning 1 round and then having a few losses in a row. And they really are in a position where Kinguin could actually absolutely dominate this CT side.
Yeah, Space Soldiers playing with 4 players everyone's long with this time. Team Kinguin do have 3 guys here to counteract this play. Centaurus trying to grab control of the drop down. It's going to be here alone. Facing off against Hanson Furlan. Nade's going to find a lot of damage. Oh my god, the boost going to get completely denied. Rallen with 2 quick frags through the smoke as he spots the head of Major just rearing on up. That's going to be the man advantage secured by Team Kinguin in a phenomenal way. The nade doing so much damage. Bombs down out in the open as well. The rotate already in full effect. They lose Centaurus on the flank. Paz falls as well. It's all on Despe with a Galil and a Dream, and Sparrow, he is on fire. 15-2 right now. Secures that 10th as Kinguin arrive in double digits. 10-1.
He's 15-2. 15-2. Only died twice. He's been clutching out the rounds that have been close, and yeah, now it's going to have to be another pistol buy at the moment. This is absolute destruction. And yeah, I don't really know what to expect at the moment from this T side. If they can't pull anything out of the bag, then this could be done and dusted very, very quickly. We could be going on to a third map, which will be cash. And then it's all to play for.
Yeah, lining up smokes and flashes over towards B. They go raining on in. Paz has to try and open here. Pop flashes, though, just denying him that chance, and instead, actually, Space Soldier's now going to dedicate their attention over towards A. It's just going to be a fake over towards this B site. Major goes down, passes a lot to try and answer for, and as he peeks wide, Rollin finds a second. Sparrow on A, though, the one player they don't want to run into, and Calix does a good job at dispatching of him, but the pop flash raining on in from further than the rotate already fully underway. We do see Rollin gets tagged down to 1 HP. This nade could mop up a couple of players, and oh, no, just finds a little bit of damage done from him. And now it's a 2-on-4. Kinguin actually falling away, looking like that. For some reason, rotating towards this B site, thinking perhaps it could be a bit of a fake being employed right now from Space Soldiers, but that's not the case. Bomb is on the site and is looking to go down. And oh no, Despe, that's not where you want to throw it. That is not where you want to throw the bomb, my friend. You made this a hell of a lot harder than it needed to be. Now Calix has to put on his climbing shoes and start parkouring up on top of the hut. Despe might have just given this one up to Team Kinguin here. They do manage to retrieve the bomb at least. And now back to back on the site. They have to try and hold this down.
Yeah, it is going to be back to this 2 versus 4. Luckily, a couple of players are low, so there is a good opportunity. And, well, Despe, you've got to go huge with this AWP. Spots one, gets the first. Calix with another, and another for Despe as well. It's all down to Mouse. Both players, well, down to the 1 versus 1. Calix not quite going to be able to do it, and even in that situation, they can't manage to win the round. They did so very well, but it's not enough. 11-1. How many rounds is that now with 1 player surviving? What's that? Well, none survived in round 8. Then we had 1 in round 9. Just absolutely ridiculous how close this is beginning to be. But every round goes to Kinguin.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the Space Soldiers we know and love. They are being dominated right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, the rounds are close, but the scoreline ultimately 11-1. And it has come down a lot of the times just to clutch plays from the last few remaining players, which is something normally we don't see Space Soldiers fall prey to. As a matter of fact, it's normally their kind of thing to do, is have these insane clutches come out, these amazing individual plays. But right now, Sparrow is 16-3. Rollin as well having a great performance. Him and Ferlin just consistently locking down this B site. And Wombi, who's going to get aggressive out towards long, he's going to get information on the back of that. As a result, if he does continue this aggression, they rotate that 4th player in the form of Sparrow over towards B. Space Soldiers taking a little bit too much time and not watching for the early aggression. Does mean that they're going to be walking into a bit of a stack over towards this B site if they decide to go for it.
Push looking to come in major, trying to capitalize on the reloading player. They've got to be careful though. Spiro's still here, trying to stand alone versus the rest of the players. The rotation will be coming in from the CT side. They're now on the site. Drop control will be in the hands of the Ts. They haven't utilized it too well thus far, but maybe this is the moment where Zontares and Calix can wake up. They can take down these poles, because so far, not so good. Well, aggressive push in. Calix will be able to get 1. Spiro's still alive on the site. He's just going to be maneuvering himself around. Gets another for himself. Eventually, Despe is there to trade, but he's now got to find 2. He managed to come close in the last round, but close just hasn't been good enough at the moment for Space Soldiers. They need him to go absolutely huge, and it's not happening. 12-1. Kinguin looking to finish this.
I mean, the one benefit, I suppose, is that Space Soldiers are going to get the full economic loss bonus, and have been for quite some time, so buying down really isn't a problem for them. They will have an AWP to play around with as well on Despe, but you know, money's one thing, converting that into round wins is another, and we just haven't seen that from Space Soldiers. They've got 1 solitary round, and since then it has all been at Team Kinguin. This time, going to be sending a couple players down through mid, but Rollin through the doors, tags Zentaris down to 1 HP. And already that is the worst possible start they could have hoped for. One of the star players of that lineup already down, but not quite out yet. Major actually going to be the first to fall as he just walks through the doors into the waiting arms of Sparrow. Now they're pushing towards this B site as the kind of fake falls flat on its face. Paz is going to go down, and Despe and Calyx, only full health players remain. Zentaris a flashbang away from death, and
get away from him.
Just changing up his position constantly, finding these frags, and it's looking like Team Kinguin are going to pick up their 13th here.
This is one of the best performances I've seen from Kinguin, and every single player stepping up, but Spiro's just looked absolutely incredible. 20 and 4, even holding drop down with an AWP. Zentaris, well, you're living on your last legs. 1 HP, 13 and 1 to Kinguin on the CT side of this map. Not something you see very often, not something you see at all. And Space Soldiers, well, their map pick is looking pretty bleak at this point.
I mean, if Team Kinguin 16 won this, I will actually be amazed. If that's the outcome we get, Space Soldiers have to try and make something happen here, and Despe to kickstart this one does find Sparrow in mid at least, but the refrag comes through, equalized back out of 4 and 4. That pop flash was terrible. Zentaris is just going to fall prey to that, and the refrag is going to come through from Calyx, lands on Mouse's head, but he's not a turtle from Mario. He is a living, breathing human being. But then Calyx finds two, the fresh prince of Space Soldiers. Bomb is going to be down though. Rollin has it tightly in his grasp. 1v3, going to opt to go aggressive. Major won't expect him to be here, and he hears the player rotating on round. Just watching the angle. Major could get caught unsuspectingly here. He's going to fall, and actually, Rollin just gives the bomb up with a minute left. Doesn't see the point in trying to protect it, and actually now rotates around to try and catch these guys on B off guard.
If he manages to win this, either like the nails already being put into the coffin, this would just be cremation. Like this would be absolutely brutal for them to sort of close this one out. 14-1. Rollin 12 and 8 at the moment. They are going to retrieve the bomb. Look to go back towards this B site. He may be perfectly positioned to actually shut this down as they look to rotate back in. Smoke will go down, denying him for at least the moment. But he's going to look for Despe. He's going to find the first as well. Looks to try and fall back. Doesn't have the ammo. And Calyx will eventually finish him off. They get a second on the board. It's taken them a long time to do it. And an impeccable CT half from Kinguin. Now all they need is the pistol, and this game is done.
I mean, even then, without the pistol, it is going to be an uphill battle for Space Soldiers. And like you say, Kinguin, I mean, if they do manage to secure that pistol, this is not even an uphill battle. It is just a vertical incline that Space Soldiers have to try and make their way up. Now, they're not going to be going for anywhere near as tactical of eye this time around. They do have kit up on Despe with the smoke and a little bit of utility on Major. Everyone else just going to be opting for the armor. And Kinguin looking like they're just going to charge in towards this B site. Zentaris actually not going to be playing drop down, instead on the site firmly. Major's here alone, but he hears just a stampede coming his way, and oh, he's down and out for the count off the bat. The push now up through Connect. They're going to split on towards this A site, and the guys, and they have a lot left to try and contend with. Furlan as well coming in late on this flank. Zentaris going to be hot on their heels, but they are going to be watching the angle. He finds one, no! And Zentaris looking angry, looking like he wants to try and make this round work, but Space Soldiers finds himself a second, putting into a 3-on-3. Furlan deals with Paz over at long. They lose everyone who was initially inside of A, but Zentaris, the hope of Space Soldiers right here, going to be on 3, and now it's all on Rollin. 1v2. They don't know where he is, but as they clear out these angles, they're going to be narrowing it down. They know that he must be on the site at this point. As they check everywhere, and what Rollin is going to fall at the hands of Calyx. The duo I often joke about being father and son. Zentaris being the big daddy of Space Soldiers, Calyx being the up-and-comer, the prince. 13-3, Space Soldiers pick up the pistol and now can potentially pull this back to a 4-13 scoreline.
I thought you were going to say overall, potentially bring it back to 4-13. That was probably the most anticlimactic end to that sentence ever. But yeah, they're going to look to try and continue this one. Obviously, the bomb does go down, so they're not going to be fully investing. Kinguin not going to try and just force the issue early on. I think they have a few rounds to play with, and well, going to be ready and waiting to try and take this in the next round. Obviously, a lot of UMPs, a few rifles to play with just in case the force does come in from Kinguin. And with not much utility, it's going to be very difficult for them to get much done, but they will be able to get close and personal by the utilization of drop down.
Yeah, they're just biding their time, waiting for the smoke to clear, and then they're going to try and waterfall in, and already Roland will go down at the hands of Calyx, who's peeking out from platform. Mouse is here to try and trade things back. Does have the high-powered hand cannon in hand, which would be perfect to make that happen. Major tags down Sparrow, but Sparrow's going to go aggressive, and oh, down goes Major. The trade does come back in from Zintares, at least, who has his work cut out for him. Just going to be watching both angles here. And then Paz finds one, looking for a second. Furling goes out for the peak and will fall. Space Soldiers pick up their fourth, but now Kinguin have enough money to buy over on the T side. It's going to be one hell of a comeback from Space Soldiers in order to win this out, but let's not write them off just yet. Kinguin with their first buy. Let's see if Space Soldiers rifle on rifle rounds on the CT side are going to be competitive.
Mostly rifle on rifle. We got a couple of umps. Plenty more utility over on that CT side. The one big advantage that they currently have is the T's will be fairly limited going into what will be an early buy on the T side. 13 and 4. They've still got plenty of rounds to play with either way. Nice nade onto Mouse to start. And Calyx will actually get the first kill of the round at least.
Kinguin on their T side playing things a lot more slowly than we saw Space Soldiers do. And what Paz going to be pushing out towards long does find one. That's a pop flash he likes to do time and time again. Mihu able to get the trade back, though, something that usually we don't see happen. Does now put us into a 3-on-4 bomb, slowly but surely pushing up towards long. Despe is here, though, to hold the angle. Pop flash comes out, but does miss its mark, and that's going to allow the peak to come out from Mihu, currently just unrelenting aggression up towards long. The crossfire is going to be set up nicely between Major and Despe. Major does fall on back, and Despe's playing a bit of a one-and-done angle where he's really kind of best hope is to maybe get one frag and then get traded. Well, he's able to get one. The trade should come out from Despe. He's able to find himself one frag. Does find good damage out on a Sparrow as well. It's a 2-on-2, but Bomb's making its way over towards A. Lucky enough, Zintares catches Sparrow on the cross. 27 seconds left for Furlan to play around with here. 1v2 and Bomb down out in the open.
Furlan back into a clutch situation once again, but Zintares is not even going to give him the time of day, as he will be down and out. And at least that's going to be a fifth for Space Soldier. Slowly grinding rounds back. Obviously not going to be much of an investment in this round for Kinguin, as they will have to just save ready for the next. A few Tech 9s invested, at least going to be trying to do as much damage as they possibly can. And that's good as well, because you have to look at the CT economy. The maximum they have is 2,600 on Zontaras, and everybody else is below 1,500 in the bank. So even dropping 2-3 players will make things much more difficult for them buying into future rounds. And the way they're going to go about it is just running straight in over towards this A site. They've already got the first of what they hope to be many. Mal's even going to be able to pick up a rifle to try and make things a little bit more costly. And they're actually going to go fading back around. This could mean that Calyx is going to have a lot of players coming his way.
Yeah, he's in a great position there to shut this down. Finds two now. As Laughter Life does going for the peak and finds that one frag at least. Now has control of the bomb, but has a lot on his mind. 1 minute and 10 seconds left over towards top mid. Can't go anywhere with this bomb, and it looks like he's going to try loop back around over towards A. Now they do keep Despe here with the AWP, who should be able to shut down any glimmer of hope for that bomb plant and just keep the site locked down. But right now he's focusing a lot of attention towards mid and actually going to rotate back around just to watch the cross. Now, Mouse can somehow make the cross and actually stay alive. Bomb is going to go down on that site, and that's ultimately what they wanted out of this round. It's just, do you see Despe missing this shot?
I hope not, for their sake. Otherwise, they may be coming a little bit more costly than they're hoping for. Mouse is just going to be sneaking. You've got 30 seconds to play with, hoping that somebody's going to make a mistake. The second he goes past these doors, Despe will finish. It's going to be another on the board. And that will be 13-6 in favor of Kinguin. But slowly fighting things back. 4 rounds in a row, however, here comes the buy. Sparrow on the AWP. Actually going to be glass cannons, so not the best case scenario. And the nade utilage has been pretty good from SS so far. However, it's such a long way to fight back. It has to be demoralizing.
Still, though, the feebled Space Soldiers CT side is incredibly strong, and already you can see that Paz playing this long angle. He has this really nice flash that I've been trying to replicate, but I can never quite figure out how he does it consistently every time. Just pop flashes himself out through the long angle and actually normally finds a frag on the back of it. He is going to be playing long, but this time from a more passive location, falling on back. As the crossfire set up between Mouse and Mihu to try and trade if need be. Right, call is going to be made. Despe to watch mid with that AWP in hand as well. And they do actually lose Paz over at long. They haven't had to play this with a man disadvantage just yet, but Zentaro is quick to refrag this back into a 4-on-4. It's going to equalize things out across the board. And now Bombs rotating back over to rejoin Team Kinguin over at A.
Yeah, and actually, if it does go pushing in towards this A site, this is where things could become a little bit more difficult. There's still a couple of players here. Despe with the AWP, who has looked to wake up a little bit more on this CT side. That's normally expected from AWPers, as it is a lot easier, especially in modern-day Counter-Strike, to sit more passively. Obviously, in the previous iterations, you could go for those aggressive AWP peaks. The Kenny S nerf, which was attempted to brutalize him as a player, hasn't worked very well, but it did actually slow him down for quite a bit. He was probably the best player in the world at one point. But either way, enough about him. We're looking at this one, and the push is going to come in from the remaining team players. Major going to go down without much of a fight, giving the man advantage back over. Zontaris tagged low. In fact, the whole team is. Burnt alive will be Despe, and this leaves Calyx with no hope. There's no point challenging this one. Just wants to keep the weaponry. Obviously, these last few rounds haven't been completely clean, so you look at the money over on Space Soldiers, and they won't have enough to buy, but only on a few of the players. Zontaris with the majority of the cash. Calyx will be able to drop one. Despe should be able to buy himself, but the remaining two, that's where things get interesting.
I mean, I think they can. I mean, as long as Calyx stays alive, they've got enough to buy, right? Like, he can drop an M4, Zontaris can buy, and then possibly drop either a FAMAS or a UMP, and then Despe's got enough money to buy as well. So, you know, I think they've got enough. As long as Calyx does live, that's going to be the main factor here, and they don't go hunting in the right places. So he will be alive, but still 14-6. They've got to try and find themselves, what's that, like 8 rounds consecutively without dropping one in order to take this to match point in their favor, or they allow Team Kinguin to get one and then have to play for overtime. So it does leave them in a very difficult position indeed, and they're going to be buying down what they can. There we go. 4 rifles in play. UMP up on Major as well. So all in all, not that bad a buy considering. Made that much stronger by keeping the M4 up on Calyx at the end of that round. And now Team Kinguin going to be starting off over towards mid once again. A couple of players exerting some pressure over a platform. This time, no one from Space Soldier is going to be holding the angle, but Calyx is looking curious, and Curiosity killed the cat. As he peeks on up, has to watch out. The AWP of Sparrow just looking downrange. Smoke's going to come out. That should render Sparrow null and void. Rollins now here alone, and they're looking to try and capitalize on this. They've caught one player out in the open and no one here to trade. They should be able to pick this up if Rollin goes out for the peak. Sparrow's there to trade. Go. Peak comes out from Zentaris. Down goes Rollin. Pop flash out. This is where Sparrow has to try and refrag, but he doesn't quite capitalize on it fast enough. He's able to find one. And Zentaris can't quite return the man advantage. Sparrow now making his way up towards drop, and never mind, Zentaris is there. Has to watch out there because Ferland's on his heels. He's been cat and mouse over towards platform, and down goes Zentaris. 3-on-3 ensues. Major's over towards B alone with Paz and Despe to hold down A.
Yeah, actually, Mihu's going to be sneaking all the way around. Is he going to check the boost? That's the big question. There's a player just sat right to his left. Despe is actually on his screen, but it doesn't matter. Mouse is going to be the one to catch him. As Despe turns around, Molotov going to deny Paz any chance to actually push back in. If they lose this round, their money is going to be absolutely screwed for the final round, or what is likely to be the final round of the map. Second Molotov. Paz is just not getting any luck at this point. Rotation will come in from Major, but they don't have a kit to play with either, unless there's one of the bodies of their teammates. Meaning this is going to be very, very difficult for them to actually retake. Major just sneaking up at the moment, but they don't have time.
Yeah, I mean, time's really going to be the defining factor here, the bane of their existence. Major going to go out for the peak, does find one on a Furlan, but really he's got to get on that bomb within the next couple of seconds, and as long as they can keep up the sight, they will be able to secure this round. Major now 1v2, and down he goes. A 2v3 in the retake ends up 2 players left alive for Team Kinguin as they arrive at map point 15-6. Space Soldiers will have to force buy down for what could be potentially their last round here, and even if they pick it up, it's going to be a huge comeback if they do manage to pull it off.
Yeah, this is going to have to come down to the power of the pistols. Deegs, CZs, and a bit of utility. No kit either, so if the bomb goes down, they're going to be absolutely stuffed. Then again, if the bomb goes down, I think this round is probably over. The pistols are not really ones for retakes anyway. Building up towards Plat. Spiro taking a nasty tag already, but that was actually over towards the A site. He's dropped his AWP for this round, probably knowing that there isn't going to be too much in terms of weaponry. Also, just the fact they lost so many players in the previous round, but now the push comes in. Nice start from Calix. Will be able to get the first Mihu to trade one back. Actually burning in the Molotov, just standing in it, confidently spraying. Major will be able to trade it back to at least the closest scenario. Actually gets another. Zontaris from behind gets one. Somehow this has come back to haunt them. They're closing it back, and it's all down to Spiro in a 1 versus 2. Looking like round number 7, maybe more and more likely. Big plays from Zontaris, big plays from Major. Spiro, well, what does he do here?
Hello, an HP, a bucket full of dreams, which he carries with him everywhere. 15-6 right now, match point for Team Kinguin, and Space Soldiers find themselves 2-on-1. They both have AKs to play around with. Zontaris does take the aim duel and actually wins it. A little bit risky, but still dispatches of Sparrow. 15-7 now, and Space Soldiers somehow managed to stay in this. And actually, the economy on the side of Team Kinguin going to be taking a serious hit. Wouldn't surprise me if we see maybe Mouse and Furlan opt to... Actually, everyone's going to buy down. Okay, that's fine. I can get behind it. Just trying to force this up. The only issue is if they lose this and their economy is going to get reset. And at that point, it can easily become kind of 2-3 rounds straight for Space Soldiers in order to bring them into a much more favorable scoreline. Not favorable, but commendable.
Tech 9s can be ever deadly on this map, especially over towards Drop, where Roland is currently residing. The rest of the teams are going to be making their way over towards this A site. Pushing through long and actually taking quite a bit of control early on. There isn't really much presence over other than Paz. He's got to be very careful. He's going to be in the open. It's going to be a quick trade. Already the smoke going to be falling in. I like this from Despe though. He's actually going to go and take control back from ramp. Go towards stairs and just try and flank round behind them before they even realize that anybody is there. They didn't spot him out early on. Zontaris the frag gets it onto Spiro as well. This is actually starting to work out. Here's the flank finally pouncing. Takes his time to get the kill, but gets it nonetheless. And that leaves just Rarlan as he falls. And, well, all that really came down to was not checking a couple of corners earlier in the rounds. And that's going to be another round on the board, at least for Space Soldiers. A reset, which should mean that there's no buy on the board for Kinguin. And, well, potentially a 9.
I mean, overtime is still on the cards here for Space Soldiers. Let's not forget they could forge a comeback of epic proportions, but it would require just that. There's no denying the fact that the comeback would have to be monumental here. But Space Soldiers are the team to try and make that happen on their map choice of Cobblestone. Other than that, Team Kinguin have had a very, very strong time of things thus far, picking up 13 rounds initially. Since then, though, Space Soldiers have won 6, and Kinguin only been able to pick up 2 just yet. So, as we continue with this, we can see they're going to just waterfall in through Drop. Now, Major's there, but it's going to fall out of the hands of Mouse. Zontaris to try and push on through to refrag. Does so. Out goes Mihu. Furlan picks up the M4, tries to take the peak, but Zontaris quicker on the trigger. Does eliminate him as well. The Vanify is returned back in favor of the Turks here. 15-8. The bomb rotating around over towards A. Sparrow's going to get spotted, though, and falls to Paz, leaving it on Mouse and Roland 2v4.
Yeah, it's going to leave Rarlan now alone. Obviously, not really too much you can hope to achieve in this round. P250, hoping somebody